From Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.
Tonight on News Hour, APC presidential candidate takes campaign to Warri in Delta State. Rivers State Governor insists PDP national chairman cannot lead party campaign. Bandits abduct 44 people in Zamfara, impose 20 million naira protection levy on community. Away from Nigeria, European Union to shun climate change talks if satisfactory outcome fails. Hello and welcome to the News Hour on Trust Television. I am Ayuba Ilya. Thank you for joining. We begin with political matters. All Progressives Congress presidential candidate Bola Tinubu has accused Atiku Abubakar of the People's Democratic Party of fighting his boss, President Obasanjo, when he served as Nigeria's vice president. Speaking during the flag-off of the Delta State All Progressives Congress governorship campaign in Warri on Saturday, the party's presidential candidate claimed Atiku fought Obasanjo during their tenure. He told the crowd of supporters that the APC will deliver its promises to Nigerians if the party wins next year's election. Some of them include the party's vice presidential candidate Kashim Shettima, Senate President Ahmed Lawan, Governor of Imo State Hope Uzodinma, Governor Simon Lalong of Plateau State, the Deputy National Chairman of the party, Ima Neoku, and a former Edo State Governor Adams Oshomole, among others.
Our rivals, they no get shame. They no get what? They no get shame. They are fighting in the public. How can they think of governance? When Atiku was there, he was fighting his boss in public. They were telling us how they spend PDM money to buy cars for girlfriends. In public, do they get shame? Do they get shame? Will you vote for them again? What about me? Let me see your hands up. Let me see your hands up.
Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike on Saturday again alleged that the national chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Iyorchia Ayu, pocketed funds realized by the party from the sale of nomination and expression of interest forms for primaries in May. Wike, who spoke at the Adokie Amisiamaka Stadium during the flag-off of the PDP state-level campaigns in Port Harcourt, the state capital, challenged Ayu to head to court if he is innocent. The Rivers State Governor further said that although he believes in the party, he also believes in equity, fairness and justice, and urged the party's presidential candidate, Atiku Abubakar, to start a government of inclusion and national unity from the party. He said that if Atiku believes in restructuring, devolution of power, and that President Muhammadu Buhari appointed 17 Northerners as heads of security chiefs, he should correct it from the party by asking Ayu to step down for a Southerner. In his speech, Otom insisted that it is only right for a Southerner to succeed President Muhammadu Buhari in May 2023.
The constitution of the party, section 73 of the party, listen, we must share. And that's it. And now you now say, we will take everything. I will not agree. Will I agree? No! Nobody will leave me with campaign. The man who's around, you are corrupt, and you are corrupt, and you cannot even make it happen. I will not. If I said you will not, never. I will not. And I want to assure you that when have not been able to deploy its conflict resolution mechanism to solve the problem that we have in Libya. And so, this is where we are.
The Independent National Electoral Commission says that it is already making plans and preparations for the conduct of a runoff presidential election where no candidate meets the conditional requirements for declaring a winner from votes cast on 25th of February. INEC's chairman, Information and Voter Education Committee, Festus Okoye, gave the hint at a meeting with bureau chiefs and editors of media organizations on Friday in Abuja. Okoye said that such a plan had been tradition of INEC for all elections conducted by the Commission since the return of democracy in 1999. He said that INEC was already planning to print double of the total number of ballot papers required for the first ballot in case there was a rerun election. He explained that the preparations were always made along with the first because the Commission had just 21 days to conduct the rerun or runoff election. And now, away from political matters, the Niger State Sector Commander of the Federal Road Safety Corps, Kumar Sukwam, has said that 266 people have been killed in road crashes in the state between January and October this year. The sector commander disclosed this during the commemoration of the 2022 World Day of Remembrance for road traffic victims in Minna, Niger State capital. The report.
The sector commander revealed that 1,496 people were involved out of 3,038 people involved in road crashes in the state. Sukwam also said a total of 461 road crashes were recorded since January to date, adding that deaths were recorded from 119 crashes while 293 were fatal but did not cause death. The sector commander met with the officials of the Ministries of Health and Transport to seek support in terms of provision of first aid kit to enable his personnel render necessary care to accident victims while taking them to hospital for proper medical care.
The road belongs to all of us. The pedestrian has a right to the road. Even the animal has a right to the road. The road does not belong to one person. It's an asset for the public, and ours is responsibility to ensure safety. So what I need to tell the public is, please, let's respect traffic rules and regulation and respect humanity. Road courtesy, you don't need to be unnecessarily aggressive because you are holding the steering of the car.
The Niger State Commissioner for Health, Mohammed Makusudi, said 5% of the Basic Healthcare Provision Fund had been set aside by the state for emergency medical response to road traffic accident and other related accidents. He said road crashes had become a public health challenge that needed to be addressed with all seriousness, noting that the state government was making effort to equip healthcare facilities across the state.
There's no amount of equipment or facilities we have in place. We don't have the requisite human resource. You're on your own. So, and most of these road traffic accidents is about traumatology. So we need orthopedic surgeons, we need anesthesiologists, we need ENT surgeons, we need a barrage of them. Thank God we are moving somewhere. We'll be there very soon.
The International Day of Remembrance for Road Traffic Victims was endorsed by the United Nations in 2005 to be observed every third Sunday in November across the world as part of effort to reduce road casualties and draw attention to the scale of emotional and economic devastation caused by road crashes, and as well call for accelerated action on road safety to save lives. According to the World Health Organization, about 1.3 million lives are lost every year across the world through road crashes.
Business activities have been paralyzed at Maigari and Kongolom border towns. While Maigatari is a border town in Jigawa State, Kongolom is located in Katsina State. Activities have, however, picked up after border reopening in the two towns bordering Niger Republic. Residents of these border towns say that customs officials and other security operatives manning the border control posts engage in extortion and harassment along the route. In this special report, Trust TV's Northwest correspondent Idris Jibrin travels to the two border communities and examines economic activities since the reopening of the border.
Kongolam, a border town in Maiadwa local government area of Katsina State, was once a hub of cross-border trading activities between Nigeria and Niger Republic. The popular Maiadwa International Market tells a story of how merchants from around the country and Niger Republic are trading across the Daura zone of the state on daily basis.
You know, any place that is close to the border, their business will be thriving because legally we are allowed to import and export goods, an opportunity we do have above any other town in Katsina. Beyond that, we also have big markets that are booming always.
But residents say not anymore.
Ever since the border had been closed since last 3 years, if I don't forget, it's 3 years exactly. Everything have just turned upside down. Most especially, here is Niger, here is Kongolam, that's in Nigeria. We have so many things between us and the Niger people. Some of our people are doing their own business at the Niger. Some of us are doing our own here in Nigeria. Some of them are doing their own here in Nigeria. So we manage like that, where when we are going inside the Niger side, sometimes we are being harassed by this Operation Drill.
For almost 3 years since the Nigerian government closed its land borders to stop smuggling and illegal importation of some agricultural products, locals in this border town allege increased extortion and harassment by security operatives at the border, the result of which worsened the community's economic hardship.
The level of extortion is at the extreme. Small business owners have been destroyed because if they close the border for development, there is none. It is only the security operatives that are benefiting. Any security officer posted here with nothing, but after a few months, you will see him with car worth millions of naira. And their extortion is too much. If you talk to them, they will end up setting you up. Therefore, if General Buhari has closed his border because of rice, then there is no more rice in the market.
But not for the controller of the Nigeria Customs Service in charge of Katsina State Area Command.
If the smuggler doesn't even believe in his own country, he believes in himself, he puts himself better than any other thing. He put himself first because of the selfish and the greed. So he can go to any length you don't even expect. A human being can do it. A smuggler can go to that extent. That's why, to us, it's a common thing having these some smugglers playing their tactics. A lot of that is on a mischievous way.
Unlike Maigatari border in neighboring Jigawa State, which is now reopened, the Kongolam border still remains closed, as residents ask the federal government to consider reopening it in order to make things easier for them.
They allow some selected marketers like AA Ranu, AYM Shapa, Mai Kifi, and Damarina to bring in fuel from Niger Republic. The rest of us were stopped. We don't know why. Are we not Nigerians like any other person?
For anybody to allow anything to pass through the main border, that means through what we call the Kongolam border, I'm telling you, help us. Let us get in. The OC Kongolam will be in trouble.
At the moment, businesses in Kongolam are no longer booming as they used to, and the community here hopes that government will look into the activities of security operatives manning the border, which they say have made life even more difficult for them. Idris Jibrin, Trust TV News, Katsina.
Concerns over the effectiveness of civil servants at federal, state and local government levels have become a matter of discourse among different fora in the country. This is as reports in some cases in the state and local government points to payroll being occupied by ghost workers getting paid for the work they never did. Trust TV's Ibrahim Ismail examines levels of compliance to basic rules of civil service by workers in Gombe State and Falsen. This report.
In 2021, Gombe State government uncovered over 900 ghost workers who constituted a burden to the state coffers and saved over 70 million naira. The discovery is a clear example of the rot in Nigeria's public service, pushing Gombe State government and the Nigeria Labour Congress to introduce a daily attendance verification exercise to ensure workers justify their payments.
So anybody that has less than 15 to 20 days as a thumbprint, that means he has forfeited his whole salary. And that gave us the opportunity that people that have not been coming to work, they have started coming to work, they endorse in the morning, and before closing they endorse it. And we also came to realize that there was a lot of people who, of course, they were employees of the local government, but they were staying in others. Some were staying in Lagos, some were staying in Abuja. So in the previous exercise that has been conducted, they will just hire a vehicle, come all the way from Lagos, attend the exercise process and go back. Their salary will continue from. But with the introduction of this machine on daily basis, that will not be possible.
Gombe State government said the daily workers' attendance verification exercise paved way for the recruitment of 1,000 teachers and over 400 health workers. The government, however, warned those on its payroll to take their duty seriously.
You will come to work by 8 and close by 4. So what stops you from coming? So anybody that is not coming to work, actually it's not serious, and even religiously, all our religions, they forbid this this attitude. So I urge the civil servant to come to work. Anybody that feels he will not come, we have our rules and regulations, and he will be sanctioned accordingly.
Some civil servants spoke on the level of compliance to duty.
Civil service is guided by the rules and regulations. So we are following the rules and regulations of the civil servant, and we are doing our best to see that we have done the right thing, what we are doing our work in the best way.
I've seen it from my senior colleagues, which I have emulated from. I come to work by 8 and close by 4. That is the official hours. But if there are lots of work to do, I at times even pass the space stipulated closing time. So these are the things that guides us, and we make sure we stick to it and come in time, work and leave at the stipulated time.
To achieve effective service delivery in the civil service, governments and civil servants must fulfill their obligations. From Gombe, Ibrahim Ismail, reporting for Trust TV.
The police in Katsina say that they have arrested several suspected terrorists, armed robbers, notorious informants to bandits and other criminals terrorizing some parts of the state. Katsina State Police Command gave the hint while parading some suspected criminals in its custody. Abdullahi Amadi has the details.
Among the suspects paraded is a woman who killed her 4-year-old stepson by throwing him into a well. The suspect, Mariam Habibu, went to the house of her ex-husband and lured the boy out of the house and threw him into the well.
As someone who believes in predestination, I accepted what I did in good faith. If anything like this happens to my own child, I will take it as his or her destiny. That's all.
Similarly, 3 suspected armed bandits who confessed to be members of the notorious terrorist kingpins Kachalla Bazamfari and Kachalla Ibrahim Nabaku camps, who specialized in terrorizing residents of Katsina and Zamfara states, were also arrested. They confessed to have participated in a series of attacks leading to homicides, kidnappings, cattle rustlings, and armed robberies, among others. Our camps are the leading terrorist camps that have participated in many attacks, killings, kidnappings for ransom, rustling domestic animals, and many heinous activities between Katsina and Zamfara states. But we hope the police will temper justice with mercy. The police operatives are also investigating a suspected member of a notorious car snatching ring headed by Mohammed Lawal Ibrahim alias Abba Kala. The suspect, 27-year-old Mustafa Lawal alias Chaskali, relocated to Memuja, a Nigeria border town around Mayadwa local government corridor to evade arrest.
They specialize in breaking into dwelling houses, attacking and robbing them of their motor vehicles. The suspect relocated to the Niger Republic to evade arrest when he learned that their syndicate was busted by the police in the month of August 2022, where about 13 motor vehicles were recovered by the command. Suspect confessed to have participated in several armed robberies in Katsina Metropolis.
The Katsina State Police Command, though worried about the increasing spate of criminalities dwarfing the socio-economic development of the people, however, vowed to deal decisively with perpetrators of crimes. Abdullahi Ismail Ahmadi, Close to Television News, Katsina.
And in the southeastern part of the country, the Anambra State Police Command has paraded 20 suspects arrested in different parts of the state for various offenses and recovered exhibits from the suspects. The parading took place at the force headquarters in Awka, Anambra State.
One of the paraded suspects is 20-year-old Ekenedi Luchukwu Okeke, accused of allegedly killing his 54-year-old stepmother, Teresa Okeke, an accountant with the National Population Commission in Awka, the state capital. The Commissioner of Police, Echeng, said the suspect allegedly connived with his friends to murder the woman in order to withdraw 1 million naira from her bank account. The police also recovered an SUV that was earlier reportedly snatched at gunpoint on the 20th of October in Ibuku area.
On 12th of November 2022, a Venza Jeep with registration number KRD 344BT Lagos was intercepted fleeing the scene where security checkpoints at the Siofra Akwata local government was attacked by ASN IPOP militants. In that encounter, 4 ESN IPOP militants were neutralized. Walkie-talkies and other exhibits, including the vehicle, was recovered from them.
I was coming back with my mom and my sisters from Imo State. So we followed Ibuku Road. When we got to Ibuku, a dark blue Lexus SUV was following us. They were in front of us. So when we got to the next bump, because there were bumps on the road, they now blocked us and came down and said that we should
came to get the money from her, so when they tied her
Are they
mouth,
here?
Yes.
Who invited them?
I was the one that invited you.
2 a.m. in the midnight with my other guys. Along the line, she was like in shock that night, so one of my friends tied her on the arms and the leg.
The CP warned criminals to vacate the state or make their Waterloo, saying the command is fully prepared to deal with any recalcitrant criminal in the state.
With these thoughts, I want to emphasize to all criminals to vacate the space of Anambra State or they will meet their Waterloo. We are here to provide, to protect, to secure the good people of Anambra and this state.
He called on residents to continue to avail the police of useful information that would lead to the arrest of criminals.
Still on security matters, gunmen on Friday night killed 2 security operatives attached to the Southeastern Security Outfit, Ebubeagu. The public relations officer of the command, Chris Anyao, stated this in a telephone interview in Abakaliki on Saturday. He said reports reaching the command indicated that the 2 Ebubeagu personnel were murdered on Friday in the Ebonyi local government area of the state. Anyanwu, however, disclosed that the command has launched an investigation to unravel the circumstances that led to the killings and arrest those behind this heinous crime and get them prosecuted. The son of the late Emir of Lafia, Musa Isa Mustafa Agwai, has been relieved of his traditional title of Ubangaring Lafia by Lafia Emirate Council. A statement by the Emirate Secretary, Rayanu Isa, said that the Emirate, during its meeting on 19th of November, approved the immediate removal of Isa Mustafa Agwai as the Ubangaring Lafia. The statement, which did not explain the reason for the sack, said that Usman Isa Baba has been appointed as the new Ubangaring Lafia. Until his sack, Musa Isa Mustafa Agwai was the third in command in the hierarchy of the traditional title in the Emirate, while the new Ubangaring Lafia before his current traditional title was the Dangala Dimang Lafia. You're watching the News Hour on Trust Television. Coming up shortly, we'll take a look at how local dramas thrive despite civilization. Details of this and more after the break.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. My name is Femi Adebayo. This holiday season, StarTimes is taking us to a better level. You can step up your family entertainment with the StarTimes upgrade promo. You recharge 2 months on Nova Bouquet and get upgraded to Basic or Smart Bouquet. Recharge 2 months on Basic or Smart Bouquet, you get upgraded to Classic or Super Bouquet. And if you recharge 2 months on Classic or Super Bouquet, you get 10 days free on your subscription. This upgrade automatically qualifies you for a weekly draw to win 55-inch smart TV, PA systems, home appliances, and more. These prizes are proudly sponsored by Longreach, Wayon, and Amaz. This promo is from the 15th November to 15th January 2023. Times and conditions apply. On StarTimes, every day is the best day ever. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. StarTimes. Entertain your family.
Ba a iya sutura da abinci jin daɗin duniyar mu ya ƙare. Za ka iya more rayuwarka da kayan alfarma na kamfanin Vento Furniture kamar su Ladi Corner Sets, Escape Sofa Sets, Acadia Sofa, Piano Sofa Sets, Sofa Corner Sets, Vento Sofa Sets. Sannan kuma za ku iya saka ƙayatattun gadaje na alfarma a ɗakunan kamar su Gold Cream Bedroom Sets ko kuma ku wadata falon ku da kujeru na alfarma irin su Sare Royal Set da Acadia Dining Sets. Ofishoshin ku kuwa za ku iya saka manya-manyan kujeru na kece raini domin walwala da jin daɗin ku da abokan hulɗa. Kamfanin Vento Furniture ya tanadar muku gadajen bacci na yara masu inganci, kayan ɗaki irin na angwaye da amare har ma da sarakuna. Muna da shagunan mu a gurare kamar haka: 79 Allen Avenue, Ikeja, Lagos; 7A Azikiwe Road, Port Harcourt; 25 Glover Road, Ikoyi, Lagos; Shop U1 Jabi Lake Mall, Abuja; da kuma 4330 Walker Road, Windsor, Ontario ga mazauna ƙasar Canada. Vento Furniture, mun zagaye ko'ina.
Thanks for staying. This is the News Hour on Trust Television. Now, here's a recap of our top stories again. APC presidential candidate takes campaign to Warri in Delta State. Plus, Rivers State Governor insists PDP national chairman cannot lead party campaign. In other news, the presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Bola Tinubu, has given reasons he stopped paying attention to articles, stories, and trending issues on social media. The Lagos State Governor, former governor rather, has stated that reading articles on social media gives him high blood pressure. The APC presidential candidate disclosed this in a video posted on Twitter by one of his allies, Ademola Oshodi. In the video clip, the former Lagos State Governor said that he gets angry whenever he reads articles on social media.
I don't read social media anymore. They abuse the hell out of me. If I read it, I get high blood pressure. I get angry. I don't read it. So, if I want to hear anything, my children or any of my workers will tell me, this one say this one. If I'm tired, I say, please, forget it.
As campaigns for the 2023 elections intensify, youths are becoming wary of being used for electoral violence that will benefit the political class, while the youths, are left with nothing. Some of the youth in Bauchi State acknowledge that politicians use them as tools to achieve their aims and later dump them at the end of the electioneering period. Adamu Imam reports.
Despite public enlightenment campaign and calls on the Nigerian youth to shun violence during electoral cycles, some still make themselves available to be used as thugs. Hussaini and Musa are youth. They lament that they are only relevant to politicians during elections. Politicians always approach us to work for them during electioneering period. As soon as the elections are over, we will not see them again. However, not all of them are like that, because some of them do pay us after we deliver on our task. Youth are the bedrock of any society, but when they are uninformed, politicians leverage on that ignorance and use them to achieve political gains. That has been the case for years. They know we are unemployed, but instead of empowering us, the reverse is the case. While identifying what characterized those referred to as thugs, Ahmed Jabo, a community leader in Bauchi, says they are of different categories with the same motive.
They are just like a team that the politicians use in getting what they want. So as long as they will get what they want, they can do anything to get the boys. So they may direct them and get what they want. So particularly, definitely, this is the major things. But at least if anybody can do something to the organization, at least, which is useful, you don't need any talks, at least.
Politicians in the state also maintain that some of these youth are not members of any political party, but rather hired to deliver certain tasks.
So they have a place where they normally used to sit in the area. Most of the politicians of that area, despite of different political parties, they used to come with their banners and billboards and give that to the youth. The youth, they will prostrate in the street for anybody. If you come with your money, they will collect it and place your banner. They will place APC banners, they will place PDP banners, they will place any banner. So that means that all what they need is the money.
They also confirm that the money they are paid to work for politicians is not something to write home about. Adam Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
Deputy Senate President and governorship candidate of the All Progressives Congress APC in Delta State, Ovio Omar Gege, has accused the Delta State government of misappropriating 2.8 trillion naira of the state funds in 7 years on failed projects. Omar Gege made the accusation while addressing journalists at the Campaign Council office in Asaba, the state capital.
Addressing newsmen on issues of concern in the state, the Deputy Senate President pointed to the recent collapse of the multiple sports complex at the Stephen Keshi Stadium in Asaba and the fire outbreak at the same stadium as evidence of what he described as corrupt and bad leadership in the state.
The PDP government has abandoned the riverine areas of the state to their own devices. When compared to other states in Niger Delta with similar FARC and IGL, Delta State is beset by poor or non-existent infrastructure.
The APC governorship candidate also noted that the state is not where it ought to be under the control of PDP in the past 7 years.
Beyond politics and political party affiliation, we all know that with the enormous resources and competence of Deltans all over the world, our state is not where it ought to be. Under the PDP, and especially in the last 7 years, the problems of Delta State have been squarely rooted in bad leadership, misplaced priorities, pervasive incompetence, and even corruption.
Reacting to the allegations, the Commissioner for Information, Charles Anyagu, said the Okowa-led government has delivered on projects and empowered youths and women across 25 local government areas of the state.
There is no single local government in Delta State where we don't have appreciable number of projects, whether in the area of roads, in the area of hospitals, in the area of schools, in the area of even human capital development, where we have also empowered a number of our people.
Anyago also accused the APC governorship candidate of knowing nothing about the state he wants to govern.
And it also shows he lacks knowledge of even the state that he's claiming he wants to govern. Because if he has knowledge, he would have known that thousands of Nigerians, of Deltans, well in excess of 17,000 directly have been empowered, and that a number of these persons are now entrepreneurs. 7 years ago, this secretariat we were in, I'm not too sure it was here, and I know you know it wasn't here.
Observers say the verbal onslaughts from the two camps do not augur well for the state and called for calm from both parties.
Hate speech, the art of misinformation and disinformation aimed to cause mischief against persons or groups, has been identified as one of the major problems of Nigeria as a nation. Some residents spoke to Jimmy Azande on the rising trend of hate speech, say that if not addressed, that the nation may find itself in a precarious situation, especially as the election approach.
The information space in Nigeria has been corrupted by hate speech, according to these youths. To them, there is too much of ethnic profiling and character assassination by Nigerians, especially on social media.
Statement against somebody that you are not sure of, most especially when the statement is targeted towards tarnishing that person. It would also be social have a rethink, even when we think, even when we are told to level a kind of a speech against somebody, because that is not even going to end at a point where we have written about that is going to tarnish that person's image, even including the image of his own children.
Hate speech, they also said, is a major setback to the unity of the country, as many have now relied on falsehood in their dealings with one another, a situation that promotes disunity. With many abandoning the conventional media for accurate and verifiable information, the situation is getting even worse by the day.
In our present society, hate speech has done a lot of harm, and if you check back in history, wars have been fought, people have gone into serious fight because of speech alone. So I want to advise our youths that whatever we want to do, social media has grown now, the world has grown technologically. On social media we can do everything. We post a lot of things that are not good at all. Sometimes we direct them without facts, and this thing is causing a lot of harm.
The residents of Makurdi called on those in the habit to desist and urge the law enforcement agencies to persecute offenders to serve as deterrent.
That is, hate speech as what attacks the progress of a community does not just attack the progress of a community. It shows the backwardness, the general level of inability of the people to progress.
With deliberate campaigns against the act, many are hopeful that the information space will become less toxic and factual information would find its way to consumers than falsehood.
Now moving on, the World Health Organization says that 779 people around the world lack basic access to safely managed sanitation services. The WHO Regional Director for Africa, Matshidiso Moeti, said this on Friday in her message to commemorate the World Toilet Day. The World Toilet Day is annually marked on November 19 to raise awareness about the importance of toilets to healthy life and hygiene. The day has groundwater and sanitation, making the invincible visible as the theme for 2022. The WHO Regional Director for Africa said 208 million people still practice open defecation. According to her, safely managed sanitation services will lead to attainment of the Sustainable Development Goals 6 target and essential for realization of other SDGs. A new report published by the World Health Organization has revealed that 3.5 billion people suffer from oral diseases, with 3 out of 4 affected living in low and middle income countries. Director General of the WHO, Tedros Ghebreyesus, disclosed this in a statement on Friday. Ghebreyesus said that oral health had long been neglected in global health, noting, however, that in many oral diseases could be prevented and treated with the cost-effective measures outlined in the report. According to him, in a first-ever comprehensive overview, the Global Oral Health Status Report analyzed key areas and markers throughout 194 countries and shows that cases have increased by 1 billion over the last 30 years. He said that the main reason was that many people do not have access to prevention and treatment. Danish Embassy in Nigeria has advised the Nigerian government to consider the abolition of cattle grazing and embrace ranching if the country must meet its desire to be self-sufficient in milk production. Sector Councillor on Foods and Agriculture, Paul Jacob, who spoke on behalf of the Danish Embassy at a workshop in Kaduna, said with 21 million cattle, Nigeria ought not to be importing milk products.
Paul Jacob said the situation can change with Nigeria quadrupling its current milk production status if very intensive focus is put on improving crop of feed, weight improvement with a focus on milk, as well as settlement of cattle in one place.
How can a country have 21 million cattle and still need to import milk products? Something needs to be done. Nigeria has a development system of grazing reserves, but they have not been tuned and invested to actually facilitate the function they are defined to. That system could maybe be improved and be one of the foundations for doing increased cattle production.
The executive officer of Milk Value Chain, Ishaq Bello, says with sustained effort through cooperatives, milk supply will increase in the country.
Because when we have sustainable milk operations, there will be a continuous flow of milk. And at least we believe that within the next 7 years, the amount itself will supply close to 10% of the milk supply from Nigeria. That's what we are aiming at.
The moment we plan is the traditional normal open grazing is closed up. There's no more clash, because you will not even go to a farm, you will not graze out of the yard. Talk less of you grazing on the farmer crops.
According to experts at the workshop, one of the biggest problems of dairy production in Nigeria is the allocation of land and migration of cattle, as well as insecurity. It could be recalled that Kaduna State Governor Nasiru El-Rufai had inaugurated a 1,000 household milk farm project in Damokubo local government area with the aim of expanding national capacity to produce high-quality milk and reduce over-reliance on the importation of milk. Bello Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
Local drummers are thriving in their trade of entertaining people while promoting rich cultural heritage, representing soul of the community. Some popular drummers in Osogbo, Osun State, who have become successful in the trade, said that their fathers bequeathed the trade to them and are happy sustaining the tradition. Hamid Oyegbadi reports on how some talking drummers are promoting the Yoruba rich culture.
By squeezing the leather tension cords between his arm and body while hitting the round drum head with a curved stick, this drummer changes the pitch of the drum to mimic the tone and prosody of human speech. Since time immemorial till date, local drummers are among the regular features at palaces of traditional rulers in Yoruba land. They entertain the monarchs and guests. In Osogbo, Osun State capital, Taiwo Ganiyu and Waidi Irawo are successful drummers, famous for entertaining people with talking drums.
Ẹlòmíì kò mọyì iṣẹ́ tá à ń ṣe. Ẹlòmíì lè ní ẹ má pariwo sí mi létí ariwo yẹn ti pọ̀ jù.
Some people do not appreciate drummers, while some people appreciate us. Most people here recognize us very well and always want us to drum for them. People that love culture are always happy when they see drummers. We make people happy.
Tí n lò bá sí mbẹ̀ bígbà tí wọ́n ní mọ́rírì nǹkan tán ṣe. Torí àjẹgẹ́ tó gbé lọ́hùn òòṣà ni.
The drum is a spirit. When you appreciate the drum, you will be happy. Traditional rulers cannot do without drummers. Drum brings happiness to people. It replaces sorrow with joy. You become happy when you appreciate drummers. Olushola Ajala, a resident of Osogbo, said drummers need to package themselves well to earn more respect and proper recognition in the society.
Do you know they are very talented people? Drummers are talented people. But the problem is because most of them are illiterate. That's the major problem. They do not package. Packaging is it. That's their major problem. Let them package, let them structure, let them not work at cross purposes, let them not fight, let them not beg for money, let them wait to be invited to occasions. That will make them recognized.
Meanwhile, as civilization brought modern music, including the foreign songs, the local drummers are thriving as culture-inclined individuals still appreciate the language and rhythm of the talking drums. Amid Oyegbade, Trust TV News, Osogbo.
Now time for us to take a look at business updates presented by Chiamaka Mwafo.
The International Monetary Fund has revised Nigeria's 2022 real GDP growth forecast down to 3% from 3.4% earlier, citing weak oil production and the adverse effects of recent flooding. In June, the IMF said Nigeria's real GDP growth was broadening to all sectors except oil, but inflation remains elevated. It added that the economic outlook for Africa's most populous nation and top oil producer was challenging, with high food prices raising food security concern. The IMF said double-digit inflation in Nigeria is expected to moderate at end 2022 as the start of the harvest season more than counters the projected increase in rice prices caused by recent flooding. The fund added that monetary conditions were accommodative despite tightening measures undertaken by the central bank, as interest rate was still below inflation at 21.09% in October. Nigeria has been re-elected as a member of the International Civil Aviation Organization Public Key Directory ICAO-PKD board for the fourth time. The ICAO-PKD is a central repository for exchanging the information required to authenticate electronic machine-readable travel documents such as e-passports, electronic ID cards, and visible digital seals. A statement by the spokesman of the Nigerian Immigration Service, Tony Akuneme, on Friday said the election was in recognition of the vital role Nigeria has been playing on the global stage of electronic travel documents. The election of Nigeria and other countries to the board was the high point of the 29th ICAO-PKD board meeting, which was held in Speke Resort, Munyoyo, Uganda, from 16 to 17 November 2022. The board is the standing body responsible for the ICAO administration and operation procedures to ensure the efficient operation of the PKD, including its financial and contractual management. ICAO-PKD is made up of 8 member countries with 15 board members who serve 3-year term each. A total turnover of 694.376 million shares worth 8.667 billion naira in 15,418 deals was traded this week by investors on the floor of the exchange. The financial services industry, measured by volume, led the activity chart with 487.150 million shares valued at 4.229 billion naira traded in 7,527 deals, first contributing 70.16% and 48.80% to the total equity turnover volume and value respectively. The conglomerates industry and the consumer goods industry came second and third respectively. The NGX All Share Index and market capitalization appreciated by 1.22% to close the week at 44,492.73 points and 24.234 trillion naira respectively. 31 equities appreciated in price during the week, 33 depreciated in price, while 93 remained unchanged. And that's it on Business News. I am Chiamaka Wafo.
Now, away from Nigeria, the European Union has warned that it was prepared to walk away from climate negotiations if a satisfactory outcome could not be reached. It, however, said that it still believed a deal could be struck on Saturday between negotiators at the COP27 summit in Egypt. Speaking to reporters on the sidelines of the summit, EU climate policy chief Frans Timmermans called on other parties to negotiations to reciprocate efforts to find a deal, particularly on the issue of funding for poorer countries hit by climate disasters. Rwanda's defense ministry says that an unidentified soldier believed to be from the Congolese army was killed after crossing the border and firing at local security forces on Saturday. He was shot dead by RDF patrol before causing any casualties, the statement read. The ministry said that in a statement that the man crossed the Petite barrier, the border between Goma in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo and Rwanda, entering the Rubavu district before shooting at Rwanda Defense Force guard towers. This comes as rebels from the M23 group, which has been fighting the Congolese government for a decade, made considerable gains in recent weeks, advancing towards Goma as fighting intensifies. DRC accuses Rwanda of supporting M23, but Rwanda has always denied the accusation as regional powers continue working to ease relations between Rwanda and the DRC. In sports news, FIFA President Gianni Infantino said that Saturday that the World Cup fans can survive for 3 hours a day without beer after sales were banned around stadiums. World Cup chiefs on Friday banned beer sales around stadiums in Qatar in a stunning U-turn just 48 hours before Sunday's kickoff. Alcohol is largely prohibited in the Islamic nation, but the organizers sparked fury from fans with their dramatic late decision. Football's world governing body, FIFA, said beer would not be sold to fans around any of the 8 World Cup stadiums following discussions with the host. It said that beer sales would be focused on fan zones and licensed venues, removing sales points of beer from Qatar's FIFA World Cup 2022 stadium perimeters. It gave no reason for the surprise decision, but media reports said that there had been an intervention by Qatar's ruling family. Now, all work and no play, they say, makes Jack a dull boy. This was the motivation behind the friendly match between Trust TV and Arise TV, which took place at the Millennium Park, Abuja. Our sports correspondent, Adeni Ajishafe, was there and now reports.
Daniel, give us space. Listen to your coach.
The match started with a promising display of skills from both sides, squaring each other in size and skills to see who would take the lead. The first half was more of a test match as Emmanuel Elman, John Oyino and Obina of Arise TV were on rampage to score, but the defensive wall of Trust TV, Ikena Emmanuel, Sadiq Bawa, Fuad Shobawale and Daniel Cortel all their moves. Noel Anaba and Dogara Ibrahim also made countless moves to score for Trust TV, but had no clear-cut chances as the first half ended in a stalemate. In the second half, Trust TV's coach Olawale Peters made some changes, the introduction of Precious Shigbu and Abubakar Lawal, which brought some fluidity to the team. The match continued till Arise TV's John Oyilo opened scoring with a perfect header from a well-taken free kick by Emmanuel Elman to beat Trust TV goalie. Not long, the second goal came with Emmanuel Elman making it 2-0 for Arise TV to widen the gap. Trust TV worked hard to reduce the tally by 1 when Arise TV player committed a foul in the 18-yard box, which Ayuba Kefas converted. Trust TV connected well to score the second goal that was disallowed on ground of infringement by the central referee. Not long after, David was fouled in a tough tackle, and Ayuba Kefa scored outrightly to make the scoreline 2-2 to end the friendly match. Arise TV John Oyino feels happy to play in a friendly match as he looks forward to the second leg.
I felt excited, that kind of goal, very lovely, but most importantly, the teamwork. The ball came from a free kick and I had to jump in and then give it a good angle and I put the ball away. It was a very good match anyway, but thanks to my teammates. We have a replay of the match because I think I still have a lot to deliver. When I meet you guys, it was a very interesting game anyway. I love your guys, and the game was very fair, no harsh tackle, nothing. And at the end of the day, you can see the spirit, the love. You guys really made us happy tonight. We are really happy to have fixed this match, and then we made sure that it ended well. Thanks to all the teammates, to all the fans, to everybody, to those that give us support, and everybody was really. This is like one family, and then I look forward to playing this kind of football more and more. Yeah.
Trust TV's Ayuba Kefas also look forward to the second leg as he believes Trust TV will win despite the tough challenge in the first leg.
Well, I feel amazing, I feel very well. It was a nice game. I feel happy. I'm happy. Our team didn't lose the match, so I'm very excited. When they scored us, I had to tell my team that we still have hope since the game has not ended. So we put in the fight. We fight till the end. That was what gave us the draw. So we didn't back up. We keep fighting. That's the game. Definitely. But if they want to play with Trust TV, definitely they should work hard because we just try to see how they play. Because next time we are going to give them more fight than this one.
The TV stations look forward to the second leg of the friendly matches to know the winner of the encounter, as both are ready to improve before the final meeting. That's Sport News. I am Adeni Ajishafe.
Football is indeed a unifying game. And that's our news for tonight. In case you've missed, you can always catch up across all our social media platforms. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. I am Ayuba Ilya. Thanks for watching.